Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Transport Fever 2. Coming at you with more of our Dedication Island series. Thank you so much for being here. As you know, I really do appreciate it. Wonderful to have your support every single day as we bring you a new video every single day. As I record this right now, I am less than 2 hours and 15 minutes away from our very first live stream of this series. We're going to do a 3-hour segment. We're going to work on all kinds of fun stuff. By the time you watch this, that will have already happened, but the live stream footage will have been uploaded to YouTube. So, hopefully you tuned in for the live coverage. If not, be sure to catch up on the YouTube as well. And of course, do all the obligatory liking and commenting and all that kind of stuff. So, today, this is supposed to be playing, by the way. Pro streamer, by the way. All right. So today, on this episode, I thought that we would do a little bit more of a chill, relaxing episode. We do these every once in a while. Instead of having one big major project that keeps me on my toes and I'm constantly trying to get caught up on what to do and get everything done in a 45-minute stretch and all that. Instead of focusing on that, my thought was what we would do today is do a little bit of upgrading and then just hit up a few little teensy-weeny projects that I've been kind of nagging at me in a couple different cities here and there. And it just to kind of get things updated and get things moving along. So if you guys will join me, I think it's time to get started. By the way, how awesome is it? Look at this. Look at Rangerton in the background. You can see, well, get rid of that. If you can see in here the skyline way in the distance. And then you can see that train. Look at that. Oh, look at this. The train with the smoke. Oh, steaming, baby. That's hot. Hot, hot, hot. And another one here. Oh, that's hot. All right. Before we do anything, I want to get rid of this and this, because those are just annoying to look at. Alright, let's back her out, and let's get started. First things first, we are going to do an upgrade. We're going to upgrade all of our cargo lines are currently using the Benz. And what we want to do is transfer those over from the Benz to the Blitz. That's right, the Opel Blitz is upon us. Apparently, wait a minute. That doesn't make any sense. Why is it saying the build date was 18? That's obviously wrong. Oh, there we go. Now it's updated. Okay, 1935. I was going to say this just became available. Why is it saying that? Okay. So yeah, we have 3 new vehicles, and they are spectacular. And we are going to update all this. So sometimes when I'm recording YouTube videos for you guys and that, I'll update lines periodically as I'm just going through. I'll update one here and update one there. But a process that I do from a lot of the time is when I get a new vehicle, I'll actually come into this manage all lines section here. And I will physically just go through every line that it applies to and update every one of them. So I'm just going to take you through that process really quickly and show you how to. So basically, it's just the first cargo lines, because we know cargo is all of our trucks and stuff like that. So we just come to our first cargo line and manage the vehicles. And so what we'll do is we will actually switch. So we're using, this is coal. And we actually have you have to look here what specialization, right? So now we actually have a specialization. We're going to be losing the specialization of the stuff for the wood and the lumber materials and stuff like that and the steel. But we're gaining both specialization for the fuel and oil and stuff like that. And we're also gaining specialization for the coal and the stone and all that kind of stuff. And then finally, all cargo for the last one. But these things are significantly better. Like, these guys only did 40. These guys are all going to do 60 for us, which is great. That's a huge upgrade in speed. And then, of course, they have little bit more power, as in double. This is a huge upgrade. And then the loading speed is actually going from 2 times to 3 times. So where we were having some issues with load times limiting our output, this is a massive upgrade. So without further ado, let's go ahead. This is a coal line, so we can actually use the dump trucks, which is sweet. Dump trucks implemented. And we'll just keep moving along. Boom. Another coal line. Dump trucks. Now what we'll do is, I'm just going to update all these. Oops, sorry, that's the wrong thing. Oops, like that. And like coal again. And we'll update all these, and then what we'll do is we will... Oh, you can actually... You know what I could do? I could select... Oh, that's interesting. Okay, let's do this. So then that's these 2 lines here. Okay, I never really thought about that. Okay, so we can do this a little bit quicker. So these both need the same vehicle. So these guys will switch to these. But yeah, what we'll do is after we've switched all the vehicles, we'll let the game run in the background as it does. And we will do some of the little projects in some of the cities around the place. And then we'll come back and we'll manage the lines and take you to the second process of switching over. Is obviously we're going to need a lot less vehicles than we had before. And so we'll make adjustments there. So let's turn those off. And then we come in here, construction materials. And so this guy is going to need, I guess, this one. Because there's no specialization for construction materials. This guy is carrying crude, so we can switch him over to the oil tanker trucks thingies. And this one is... Oh, this is the little tractor line. I call it the tractor line because it's the Druidville tractor line. I like it. So this is the one that's actually transporting the wheat or the grain or whatever you want to call it to the food factory. So we can go ahead and use the dump trucks there. And then this is food to the harbor. So this will just be this guy there. These 3 are all... Oops, sorry. What is going on here? Iron. So all these ones that are doing iron can all be switched over, 96 vehicles, to the dump trucks. Right there. Just like that. And then we have these 3 are all logs and planks and secondary planks line. So we can, and actually even steel. These ones can all be switched over. These we're using the stakes, but we can no longer, we don't ever have a stakes vehicle. We just have these 3 different ones here. And of course, none of these have that stuff. So we have to just use the generic. And, oh, wait, we go. I apologize, by the way, for that noise. It is an extremely annoying noise. And then we got a couple stone ones here. So then this can switch over to this one. Now, there is a double dip line. This is the double dip line, actually. Just a second. This line here is just... Yeah, this is the stone going to the central materials line. So this can actually be the stone here. But this line here is the double dip line where it takes it takes the stone to the factories and then the construction material back to the train line in Brompton. And because it's bringing it's bringing stone one way, but the construction materials back the other way wouldn't fit. So we have to use the generic so that it fits all. Just like that. And then finally a little bit more wheat. So we can use this guy here. And there you go. And then we also have the delivery lines as well. Almost forgot about the delivery lines. Silly me. So construction material delivery. That'll be the generic, of course. Delivery of food to Dogetopia. That will be... We're actually using these old guys. Just noticed that. That'll just be the generic guy for the food. And actually this one as well will be the food. Generic, like that. and then the 2 goods, and actually the tools. All 5 of these can be switched, and those will just be the generics as well, the regular old trucks. So that's that. Now, every truck that I can think of should absolutely 100%, yeah, should be done. So what we'll do is that'll just go ahead and play in the background and get sorted out. And also, time's moving along pretty quick. I actually don't mind that. I don't mind if we go forward to 5 or so years during this video. So we're going to just go through, and I just have just small little projects and cities and stuff like that. Road management and bus line or 2 and stuff like that. First thing in Morphous City, I actually noticed that what actually happened here is this city. I also want to update you on the movement of industry and stuff. This city created some neat little thing here, and I was about to delete it. I thought, you know what, that looks kind of cool. You probably couldn't make that on your own if you tried. So what I was going to do is come in here like this, and we actually have all these new roads and stuff that upgraded or became available not too long ago. So what I thought is we could actually update these, and of course this one will want to go that way, and then I was going to upgrade that one that way, and now it'll actually kind of help with just kind of a neat flow of traffic thing where you have to go on this side of that one and this side of that one. And long term, as this city gets bigger, this is going to be a pretty central part of the city as it expands down here and all that. And that might actually be kind of a handy little thing. And another thing I'll probably be doing once we get into the 70s and 80s probably, or later on when we try to manage traffic, is have more one-way lines or one-way roads. So for instance, we have big double roads here and here, but we could potentially create a situation where, well, this is kind of a bad example in such a squeezed-in city, but you'd have like one-ways, for instance, like this would be one way this way, and then this one will be one way that way. And much like a lot of major cities, downtowns kind of work, and you could kind of do the same thing here, one way and then one way, and that way that there's not what it does is it allows there to be less crossover, like people crossing over at intersections and stuff like that and waiting for other people, because it's the traffic flow is moving so smoothly. So that's kind of a plan long term. Now, as far as the rest of the cities goes, I don't really have a lot of things I wanted to do, other than I saw one thing in here that was driving me nuts. We're going to go ahead and do that, and I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I don't mind this angle here, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of bring it straight down here and have it be connected fully all the way through. And this is where you want to actually pause the game, even though I don't want to be paused too much during this episode. It is rather annoying when you delete roads that the game put in. The game's saying, hey, I need a road here. And so if you've got the game running and you delete a road, they will very quickly be like, yeah, I still need a road here. And so you don't want to spend too much time with the game running and having a road deleted that you put in. Now, I'm thinking I kind of actually want this to be straight down here. Instead of going like a nice smooth line, I'm just going to go straight, and it actually kind of looks and works pretty well. So we'll go ahead and plop that down there. And I'm going to go ahead and delete this one as well and just kind of make this kind of go straight. Just for OCD purposes, like that. And then we'll upgrade this and this. And that should be pretty good. Now, this can get upgraded as well. It's going to delete a whole bunch of small guys, but that's fine. I kind of don't even know if we need a road there. Because it's what's happening is we've got some big stuff here. Yeah, you put big stuff here, there's still some gaps. So as long as there's big stuff on either side and then just little guys down the middle, I don't mind. Squeeze them in. But as far as how this city's going, as you guys know, I updated you not too long ago. We actually... what I'm trying to do is get all the industrial to above this road, so over here, right? And I've been slowly trying to update it along. And so what I do is I delete some of the residential back here, farther away, because I can always regrow in here, right? And then what we wanted to do is actually start to fill in all this area. So some of it will choose to fill in this area. And then as this is all full, you can see it's jumped across. It's gone all the way across this line. All the industrial starting to come around the factories here, which is great. And all these roads I created are starting to fill up. And it's jumping across streets and filling in holes, and that's fantastic. So as you delete more industrial, in fact, I think I'm actually going to go ahead and delete all this. We only have 2 more sections to delete. There's this section and this section. I'm going to go ahead and let the green jump to here and fill in, and as well as fill in here. And then the industrial I just deleted will hopefully start to fill in holes up in here. And then we'll delete this one and it'll fill in, and then this can fill in with both commercial and residential, and then we'll kind of have our dream situation in here set up, and the industrial can grow that way. So that's starting to look pretty good. So I can't say I complain about that, but it's looking, it's starting to make sense. Okay, next we're going to go to Kinshi, and an executive decision is going to get made, and that is, I had put this track in here in order to block off this and just kind of reserve this space for a track that could go through and head to Morphous City. But I've made the executive decision that that is not going to happen. This station is already pretty much at capacity anyway, from where I want it to be. And also, there's a lot of stuff that's kind of developed in the way that would just make it hard to find a reasonable path to come through. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to go ahead and allow this this major. I have this this road here. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to see if I can get Kinshi and Morphous City. You know, once we get into like the 1980s, 1990s, when like the traffic just gets kind of nutty, especially going between cities and stuff like that. We're going to see a bit of an experiment on how we can manage this. So this is just the one road. What I'll probably do is do a major freeway coming up through here. And then potentially, depending on how big the city gets, just try and find different ways to transport people back and forth between here other than a train. And then if all else fails, what I will do is I'll just put a station in here and a station in here. And we'll just do like a bullet train that just traces right down here. And we'll see, you know, well, that'll just be another option for people to travel on to limit traffic. So that's just going to be kind of an experiment that we'll run there eventually. But what this does, and by the way, let's get this thing rolling back up in here. What this does is this allows us to start getting the roads. No, let's just contour. It allows us to start getting the roads sorted in here for the industrial to kind of squeak across. As you can see, we actually had one industrial building. Look at that. So entrepreneurial, coming across the tracks and getting in here. And of course, we would like, if we could, to get this kind of filled in with industrial stuff in this area. Of course, this is going to be filled with plastics factories in and around here. So if the industrial can come down here and squeeze in here and that, and just kind of fill this area in, that'd be fantastic. So what we'll do is, I'm actually going to delete this road because it's not quite as straight as I'd like to see. And again, there you go. This is one of those situations, you delete a road like, no, I need that road. Put that road back right now. So let's come out of here and go like this. And straight into there. And I'm actually going to do the same thing here, if I can. Like that. Looks like that's good. And we'll update these guys here. I could spend all day going around updating. Oh, I'm gonna have to fix that in order to update that. But yeah, because we got all these roads become available, a lot of the cities haven't updated some of the stuff, and so it becomes a situation where you have a lot of roads that need to be changed and updated and adjusted and stuff like that. So I could spend a whole episode doing that, and I'm not going to, obviously, because that would be boring. So I'm just going to leave that as it is. I like this bend. It gives a little bit of variety to what is a very boxed up city. I'm going to go ahead and leave this, I think, as it is. What I may do is have this become an overpass. I don't know. And have it just to, instead of, I don't want this to be a heavy traffic area, obviously, because of the rail. So at some point, I'm probably going to want to do an overpass on this side. I don't know exactly how it'll look, but it'll be something going on over in here. And then, yeah, I'm just going to let this kind of work its own way out like that. All right. And then also, just a quick thing. We are having some major traffic issues. These aren't particularly popular, of course. So these get built. But this down here, both the east-west and north-south could absolutely use an update. So while we're here, I'm going to go ahead. You know what I can do? Let's get with the times. I'm not going to do it in every city, but there are some, like this right here is where we could just go ahead and, instead of like adding another one or two of these on, perhaps, oh, we actually even have another one. Perhaps it is time to give up. Wow, these things do 100. Oh, sorry, I thought this said 100 kilometer an hour top speed. Like, what? It's 100 kilowatts power. So very powerful for going up hills. 35. These, they have better capacity and better speed. And what's the emissions? These have less emissions. They're kind of cool looking as well. But I'm going to switch to the Moscow F in this city. And I'll do the same thing on this line as well. The this one here. We actually could, well, it's not too bad. We'll see what happens when I upgrade to that. Because this is a big upgrade. It's only a 5 kilometer an hour difference, but we're doubling the capacity, which is absolutely huge. I just fell so in love with that one vehicle. I didn't want to give up the dream, but in some cities I'm gonna have to start allowing the times of change to happen. Okay, that's Kinshi for now. Let's go to Brompton. I have a couple little things I wanted to do in there. Especially managing these roads. What happened is I had this major road along here, and then all this stuff has kind of been filling in on its own, and it's got some ugly things happening here I'd like to try and alleviate, if you will. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bulldoze this and this, because I don't like that extra intersection there. And what happened is this intersection was created by this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bulldoze this. Bulldoze this. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to recreate it magically by going in here and going like this and putting it right in here like this on this intersection. Like that. And it still reaches to there, which is good. Oh, thankfully, the one that I wanted to get this, so that tools to Brompton, actually comes down in here, so it can just come down in here and swoop in and come back. So it's off of this section here now. Now, what's going to probably happen is these guys are probably going to want to create a road down to here, and I don't hate the idea, but I don't want to have a ton of intersections along here. I guess one more isn't too bad. This comes to here. I guess it's kind of, it seems about right. But what we'll do is we'll actually do it ourselves. So let's go ahead and do some road upgrades first. So let's upgrade this and this. And we're going to want to upgrade this as well. And then what we'll do is we'll see if we can't get this. Even though this will probably do a bit of a weird turn. Like this is, oh, that's not quite straight. So coming straight out of here will probably, what'll probably happen is it'll jet down, it'll make a bit of a weird turn to get to this. And so you have to decide, do you want it to do a weird turn like that? Or do you want it to come straight out and then make a bit of a sharper turn? I'm going to try the straight out into the sharper turn like this. I'm going to come like that. And then have it come like that. I think I like that better. It feels better. Just feels good, man. And then out of here, we're going to want to come straight into here. And it's always tough coming off a bend to make these straight lines. So we go this way. See, it's almost always better because you can almost always do it so much better if you start out here and go. So there's your straight line and then the bend in. And those are almost symmetrical. It's kind of cool. And then we're going to want... what we've done is we've got this straight line coming into here, this straight line coming into here, and then I'm going to have this straight line coming into here. And then in every case, we've kind of went out and down, out and down. So we'll just keep that symmetry going. And I'm going to let the game play as well. Boop. Oh, and of course, as soon as I do it, the game's like trying to do the job for me. I'm gonna pause it because I want to make this nice and perfectly straight coming out of here. Let me try it from this side. A little bit further this way. No, not quite. A little bit into there. Ah, it's so frustrating. It's so close, but it's just not quite. Driving me nuts. That's the one. And then now we can just continue it out here. And then, actually, this one here is actually a little bit off. This one actually is going to be... This one actually is kind of making an interesting spot here. Okay, let me just see here. Close. There it is. And then like that. So that's just got a little bit of a bend at the end. That's actually pretty good. So we have the interlocking intersections coming in here. That looks good. I like the way this is all happening. Let's go ahead and press play. That's essentially everything exactly how I wanted it to look here in Brompton. It's looking really good. And then as you can see here, this is one of the things we'll have to be doing some updating on. So we've got these much better, faster trucks. The rate is up over 1,000. It needs to be 800. So I'll be able to easily come along here and delete some of these waiting vehicles. In fact, really, as long as the vehicles are waiting, it's not even reducing the actual capacity of the line, right? So we can actually delete a bunch of these vehicles. It's pretty smooth here, but then there's the wait here. And then this line, it's right around 800 now. It's probably going to trend back up. Yeah, it just went up again. But that's what you kind of do on every line. And we'll get to that and start managing some of those lines as we move along here. So the next stop is Currieburg. In Currieburg, we want to do a little bit of line management and set up a quick bus stop. Or sorry, road management and a quick bus stop. I absolutely love, and I really hope that they don't fix it. I think because of the elevation change here, like this, they're not putting in a road here. And I really hope that they don't. In fact, you know what I think you can actually do? I'm actually going to, even though it's kind of going to create an interesting situation, I like that it's a big block with the big buildings on it. I just like the challenge that it'll create as well. If you come in here, you can actually play your own. I can actually lock these up and keep them from making adjustments there. So just make them not screw that up, basically. Okay, that's fine. Now, in here, I have no idea why they did this. They put another road parallel like there. It's kind of weird. We want to do some upgrades. And make some adjustments. There's actually a fair amount of work to do in Currieburg because it's been growing a bunch and I haven't stayed on top of things. But I want to do some upgrades there and there. And let's go there as well. Like that. Coming through here. Might as well have the good roads, right? And like that. and into there. I'm not going to worry too much about making all kinds of changes. There is one thing I wanted to do, and that was I wanted to delete this road. $1.3 million! And I'll pause it so it doesn't put it back. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to delete this one as well. Believe it or not. And can I delete smaller portions of that? No, I can't. So what I'm going to do is I want a road to kind of hit that and then come into this. So I'm going to start with this side, I think, and then have it. See, it's kind of making a weird. It's not too bad, I guess. And then we'll just have it come straight through. What if I did that? Well, actually, it's going to change where the turn is for me if I want. I actually don't mind that. A little bit of a funky action there, but... And then that way we have the fluid lines. The one thing I really like to make sure we're doing, and then really I could just have it come right through to there. Like that. And then I'd probably bulldoze this back. Like that, and let that fill in a little bit for me. The one thing I do like to do, and I kind of did when I was doing a lot of that urban management and stuff, urban planning, is make sure that the cities have lots of fluid lines. And in Currieburg in particular, I made sure I focused on that. So you can see I had this major line coming down through here, and it was all the way through, no stop. And same thing here up to the train station, made that long fluid line, and had this one as well connect down to here. And then we had the long fluid lines down here, obviously to transport goods. And I made sure we had fluid lines all the way through here. And even though it's not necessarily the straightest, you know, make sure that it all connects straight through. Because I don't mind when there's like little stuff like this that, you know, does disconnecting kind of things. It gives a little bit of character to the city and stuff and, you know, whatever. But you want to have situations where long stretches can be filled in with people or with cars moving. So the last thing I would like to do in here really quickly is we want to set up a quick old train station. And there's no train station, or bus line. That's the words I'm looking for. We want to come from here, and because what's happening is this stuff is not covered at all. And what I want to do is I want to come up into here. I don't know exactly where. I think I want to come up through here, to be honest with you, and then come back, and we'll hit this, then we'll come in, and then we'll come up through here. So let's go. I'm going to go with one here. I'm not going to be shy with the stops here. I'm going to go one here and one here. So it's going to be boom, boom, boom. Then it's going to come down in here. And it's going to hit this. And then it'll let it come all the way down here and hit that. And then come back up. So that's the setup. So we're going to go, it's going to go from here to here to here to here and over to here. Goes up, boom, 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 collects there, collects there. Now, I'm kind of wondering if I want to change that, actually. I'm kind of wondering if I want to double these stops up on both sides of the streets and then go back the same way. Because going from here to here is kind of cannibalizing and removing the need to have the tram line, right? The tram line's doing that anyway, so there's no point in having a bus line do the same thing. So what this line could actually be is going from this tram stop up into this situation, and then going from this tram stop up into this situation. So there'll be ones leaving here going up into here, there'll be ones leaving here going up into here, and then again it'll just be like these guys want to come to here, then there you go. So I feel like I want to go up and then back. Does that make sense to everybody? I think I like it. So what I'm going to do, I am going to go in and set up, a little impromptu here, opposite side of the road, stops, like that. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come in to this line, which I'm just creating here. And we're going to add stations, and we're going to come right back here for 6, 7, and 8. Oh, 8, there we go. So it'll come down here, it'll come and grab that, and it'll swing around back up into here. And then it'll do that. So basically, if you get, for whatever reason, let's say you live, like, role-playing it out. Let's say you live, or sorry, you come in on the ferry, but you live here. What you can do is you can jump on the tram real quick, come up into here, and then take a bus up into wherever you live. But let's say instead you live here, but next time you're coming from over here, Jocelyn down into here, you grab your bus and you come up in here. So or wherever, right? So you'll instead of having to go to here and doing a circle kind of route, you'll just have a direct line. If you're here and you want to go to the ferry, you'll jump on this line and you'll wrap around to here and go down, whatever. Right? Makes sense. And obviously the train, the coming from there, or the train, to get on the train, same kind of thing. You'd have this bus line that goes directly there. But as an example, say you lived here. If I was doing the circle, if you lived here, you'd have to come all the way down here and do the circle part here before you actually got to the train. But now, because it goes both ways, you can get on the one going this way and get there quick shot, as opposed to doing the whole circle. I like it. Let's name that line. And that's going to be, we'll just go, that's going to be bus Currieburg. I'm going to call it Currieburg Hilltop, because it's basically going up on top of the hill and back down, and up on top of the hill and back down. Currieburg Hilltop, right there. Going up onto the hill. All right. Now, let's move on. That's done. Got a little bit of road management going there. I'm happy. Oh, we have to also put some vehicles on that. Where do we have... There we go. Right here. Let's go ahead and buy... What? Start with 4. Might be too many. That says bus, Currieburg Hilltop. Then we want to do one more thing real quick over here in Hindu-Neapolis. I'm going to try to make this really quick. I had actually more plans for Hindu-Neapolis, but I'm just going to do the one thing real quick because it's kind of been bugging me. I'm going to delete this. I'm going to delete this back here, and we're going to delete this back here. And I'm going to make a bridge across here that you can actually go under. And then I'm going to make adjustments. And I'm actually going to have this road here. This road here is going to actually be the one that connects up to here. Like that. And then I think what I'll probably do is I'll make an adjustment and move this. I'm not sure. But I got to go quick. We want to make a bridge, and we want to make a nice one, so let's not mess around here. We're going to make this this country road here, right? Yes. And so what we want to do is we want to come straight out of here. Come on, game, don't do this to me. Like that. We want it to be that there. And of course we want it to go straight. And then you want to kind of have equidistant sections of on the ground, right? Like on the ground there, on the ground there. And then you just want to go M once. Gives us our clearance. Very nice. And check the box for $4.3 million. That's actually beautiful too. Nice that there's clearance. It doesn't have too much of a slope in it. What we'll do is we'll do our trick over on this side at the very least. And all that trick is... Oh, no. Gosh. I screwed that up. now I have to go ahead and press play. Clear these guys out of here. You want to delete this little guy first, then that guy. Clear them out of the way. But yeah, what you do is it kind of comes down and does, I've explained it a bunch of times, but in case you haven't seen it in previous videos, it kind of comes down and then it makes, where you started the bridge, it kind of makes that immediate kind of elbow turn in elevation. So it's like straight, and then click, and then it starts going up. So if you delete both sides of that, and as well as the part in the middle, and then reconnect, excuse me, then you get a much smoother progression up into it instead of having that little hitch. And it looks real nice. And then over here, we are going to want this to continue into that. And you'll see that it's doing the same thing here, but we just have to. So what I'm going to actually do is I'm actually going to go straight out of here for a minute. And I'm going to bulldoze this and this and this and do that nice smooth line instead. So it's coming down and then it just smoothly arches back up. And then we'll just finish that last little bit in here. And then I'm going to have some road management to do in this area. And this truck stop's going to have to move a little bit, I think. And what the other plan is, and I'm going to have to not do it now. I'm going to have to do it. Maybe I'll do it off stream. I'm going to delete this, and this is actually going to come out here, and we're going to do a sister bridge. It's going to go this way. And I think, I don't know if I want them to go parallel. If I go parallel, it's going to be much longer into here. But if I go across here, it's going to be the shorter version, but I don't know how good it'll look on an angle. But the main purpose is that I want to have a road that connects up into Kinshi as well, long term. Because the goal is to not have trains in Indianapolis, right? It's all roads and boats. So we're going to have Wicked Harbor here, connect as many stuff as we can and stuff like that. So that's the goal. Anyway, we have about less than 5 minutes, but we want to press play. We almost have $2 billion, guys. We are making money hand over fist. So this is part of the check we wanted to make, is down in here is what our rates are, right? So we're actually way high. We need these to be at 800, and we obviously had tons of vehicles on these lines, and we're way over. And then in here we're at 1425. We're like more than double. So we make these guys way more efficient, and the way you do that is you catch them on the way out. Like this. Boom. What I like to do is catch every other one, and that way you keep them kind of staggered. So this one can go, and then this one dies, like that. And then same thing over here. This one dies. And then you can just kind of go back and forth. That one dies, that one can go. This one dies, that one can go. This one dies, that one can go. And back and forth like that. This one can go. This one cannot. That one can go. This one cannot. Look at how fast they're unloading. And then after you've done that for a little while, you can come in here and kind of check out your rate. We're still like so much. Our rate's still massive. In fact, you can actually probably tell down here. What you could also do is you could delete some of the backlog where they're waiting in line as well. And another good spot, oh, this is another thing, is making this turn is killing them. Making the turns everywhere. This line here, way over. This actually only needs to be 400. So again, this would take, I'm not going to do it all on stream, but I just want to take you through the process, right? Down here, we have way, obviously, more than we need to. So whenever there's a backlog here, all of these aren't actually affecting the rate of the line, right? When they're waiting in line. So you can get rid of all of these, and the rate of the line wouldn't actually change. So just get rid of some of these. Again, I don't want to, there's no point in putting all of these on YouTube, but as you continue to do that, you'll see this number start to drop a little bit. Again, it hasn't dropped much despite all the deleting we've done because there's been a backlog sitting here, right? So that number hasn't quite started to come down. And then, of course, there's this line over here. And this needs to be 400. So we have twice as many as we need. So again, you can come in here and start to delete any backlog. And then you can start to catch people after they've done their drop-off, which is... Oh, there's a bit of a gap here. Okay. But yeah, you see the point, right? Over here, we have our double dip line, for example, in Brompton. And this is a good example where I was showing you it needs to be 800 because we're bringing stone in, but it only needs to be 400 going back. But that was just to provide 400 for Kinshi and Indianapolis. But as the demand for that increases, of course, it needs to go up because and also we're providing for... Oh, I forgot about that. We're providing for Morphous City as well. So we actually want these guys running at pretty much full capacity. If we get up to 800, that should be enough to hit those 3 cities at full capacity. And we're not quite getting there. And big part of that is shipment out. So that's something I'm going to have to take a look at. I'm going to leave this line here. Although you can see there is a little bit of waiting. Not a lot, though. It's pretty good. There's a bit of a gap here. So anyway, that's looking pretty good. We've oh, and over here as well, we've got all these lines, of course. So 777, they only need to be 400 each. So you'd have to go through and delete a bunch there. This one only needs to be 400. It's at 1,031. So you could get an idea. I had these lines quite well dialed in at right around 400, 420, 430. And the truck, this upgrade in truck is literally more than doubling our capacity. So now we'll be able to run with less than half the amount of vehicles on pretty much all of these lines. And therefore, they'll become that much more efficient. Because even though they're more expensive maintenance, they're not twice as expensive maintenance-wise, but they're more than twice as efficient. So it's just another margin thing where you're creating more margin. And of course, that means more money for us. In fact, somebody go ahead and screen... Oh, shoot. I was going to say screenshot that. We don't have any negatives, but we actually do have some negatives still. What are our negatives? Of course, well, that's pretty close. We only have one... they're jumping all over the place when they do or don't make drop-offs. But, yeah, it's that time of year where we're paid maintenance on some of this stuff, but haven't gotten drop-offs. But yeah, look, I mean, this just, again, these margins just get bigger and bigger, right? All these hundreds of thousands, 200,000, 300,000, 400,000. Those margins just get bigger and bigger the more you get more efficient with better vehicles, which is a very good example of why it's the earlier start, 1850, for instance, the harder the game is because you've got less efficient vehicles. Later in the game, the vehicles are so much more efficient. We had that one line, that Stone to Brompton. It's at 7.8. It was like in double-digit millions. But yeah, that's just a ton of money. We're over 2. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. We're over 2 billion. We're over time as well. We are over time. This is our new vehicle. Let's jump on board and say goodbye. There it is. In fact, look at this. We're going over the bridge. It's beautiful. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. This has been a fun episode. Super chill, having a good time, making some little adjustments here and there. Do not forget, if you did enjoy if you enjoyed this vehicle and enjoyed this episode as much as I enjoyed making it for you guys, please hit the like button. If you haven't already, what's holding you up? Subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.